Promotional consideration paid for by the following. The Ohio Neck and Back Pain Relief Center, Scott M. Gray, D.C., across from the Marion Center between TSC and Kroger. For further information, dial 740-386-6580. Also located on the net at goodbackbadback.com. Marion Blue Racers football. Feel the heat, feel the excitement, the best fan experience going in Marion today. Perkins Family Restaurant and Bakery, located at 1197 Mount Vernon Avenue, right here in Marion. Open Monday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday, 7 a.m. to 9 p.m. Hey, stop into Perkins and take a look at the newly remodeled dining room. Perfect for that family get-together or that intimate get-together with friends. And hey, while you're there, check out the delicious items in the bakery. Perfect for all those Thanksgiving needs, as well as any pie, cookie, or muffin add-on to any meal. Also, check out the Get Crackin' and Biscuit Bake menus. Perkins Family Restaurant and Bakery, a family tradition in Marion for well over 30 years. From our family to yours. Hey, stop on by. Ruby Spoon Frozen Yogurt and more, where you can customize your own indulgent dessert. Choose from 14 flavors, including cookies and cream, our seasonal pumpkin cheesecake, classic white vanilla, or our creamy and rich chocolate. Check out our newest offering, fresh baked toppings. Every day we are in the back making mini cookies, mini Buckeyes, and crispy waffle cones. Come in from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. and enjoy our yogurt at a discounted price of just 39 cents an ounce. Check out our Facebook page for our daily discounts for everyone, from seniors to moms. Try our fresh-made crepes and waffles, or make your own delicious and customized yogurt smoothie. Groovy Spoon Frozen Yogurt and more, right here in Marion on Mount Vernon Avenue. Hey, Scott Spears along with you on a Thursday edition of The Exchange. Having a good time this week. If you've caught any of the previous episodes, you know we are having fun here at the Groovy Spoon in Marion, which, by the way, we will be at next week doing a taping Wednesday night, November the 16th, 5 to 8 p.m., Groovy Spoon, Mount Vernon Avenue, right next to Big Lots. Also wanted to let you know our guests this week were brought into town by the Marion Palace Theater. Marion Palace Theater, go to their website, just go to Google or any of those great search engines, search Marion Palace, and you'll find out all their great local and national shows. Great place to go. And those guests that I speak of are Chuck Carson and Lynn Roberts. Great actor. And Chuck was describing, before we came on today, what the difference is, why Lynn is not an impressionist, why he is an actor. Say that again, Chuck. It's a good definition.
I'd be happy to. If you were an impressionist, you do about 2 minutes, and you really overdo it. You overplay it. You expand it, and that's what you're seeing. With Lynn, he becomes the character. He accepts the persona. He then dresses the part, and of course, facially, he's a chameleon when it comes to being part of what we're doing. So that's the difference. And he is an actor. He performs as the individual, and he doesn't do the broad aspects. He does the characters as they were when they were alive.
Chuck, what is the chemistry like between you and Lynn?
It's like oil and water. No, it's because I'm very slippery. It works. It's really what makes the show work. Lynn and I hit it off from the very first time that we met, and it was from that first time that I saw him perform that I decided I would like to write the show and put together this concept and take it around the country, which is what we're doing.
How does it do better in certain parts of the country than others?
No, it does just as well no matter where we are. Everybody loves the radio, loves the characters. And what it is, it's nostalgia. We're taking you back to another time, the 1940s, an NBC radio broadcast. And basically, it's grandparents and in some cases, older parents bringing their children and grandchildren and saying, see, this is what it was like before you had that little phone thing.
So the kids do come out?
We've had children there at 10 and 12. We had one, we were in Nebraska, I think, or Kansas, when a young person who was about 12, he came up, and he's a radio aficionado. He collects all old radio shows, and his dad brought him, and he was just thrilled to death. He couldn't get enough of it.
Perfect. Perfect. Do want to also mention on this episode of The Exchange, we have Desmond, who was on last week with us, here from Groovy Spoon, Groovy Spoon employee, and we'll talk with him in just a second. But before we do that, we have two big-time celebrity guests today, the first of which I am going to let Chuck introduce.
Ladies and gentlemen, direct from his last stopover at Hangover Hall, I'd like to introduce the very wonderful, the very magnificent, the very, very best Red Skelton impressionist in the world, Clem Cadiddlehopper.
Well, here I am. Now I'm here, just got to figure out where the heck am I. I was standing out in front of the Groovy Spoon a little bit ago, and a cop drove up, and he walked over, and he said, "Hey, buddy, get lost." I said, "Don't get smart with me, I am lost." He said, "I mean to shake a leg," and I said, "I do, but my socks keep falling down, you know."
Now, Red, where does that character come from?
That's Clem Cadiddlehopper.
That's right.
And, of course, you know, I grew up in Vincennes, Indiana. And when I was growing up there, we always had a lot of characters around the communities and stuff. And so whenever I developed a new character, many times it's somebody that I knew who lived down the road or in the town or something, you know. And I kind of expanded and exaggerated on their personality.
Is Clem the favorite character, or are you still so closely associated with the hobo?
Oh, well, Freddie the freeloader, he's a very dear heart. He really is. But, of course, you know, two of my most famous characters aren't even persons, you know. Gertrude and Heathcliff, the two seagulls, flying along over Pismo Beach. And a jet airplane went by, see? Wow! Gertrude says, "Wow, did you see that?" Heathcliff said, "I most certainly did." She said, "Well, why don't you fly like that?" He said, "I would if my tail was on fire, you know."
Chuck, you told me this was your favorite bit in the show, Red Skelton. This is the why.
It's just the fact that we can do such a wide variety of characters with the Red Skelton character himself, and that there's an opportunity for me to interact with him as Red, with him as Clem, with him as Little Junior. Now, Junior's one of my favorite characters, always has been, the mean little kid. And in fact, I think if we're real lucky that Junior may jump right out at us. Is Junior here?
Well, just a minute here. Do. Put on my little Lord Fauntleroy hat, you know. Hello there, hello everybody. That's real nice to be here. Hello, Scott. Yeah, you make a good playmate, wouldn't you? We could go out and play in the sandbox after a while, you know. But, you know, really, I liked all kinds of things, you know. Like, one day I walked into a library. I found a cigar, and I smoked the cigar. I'm only 6 years old, you know. And I walked in the library and came over, and she said, "Junior, do you want to get me into trouble?" I said, "I don't care. What time do you get off work?"
Lynn, we're on such limited time for this character, and boy, it is dead on. Where's Red Skelton come from?
Red Skelton, well, of course, you know, as I said, I was born in Vincennes, Indiana, and my father was a circus clown, and he passed away a month before I was born.
Where does Red Skelton come from inside you, Lynn?
Oh, inside of me.
Inside of you.
Well, there's no difference. Once I start to doing Red Skelton, it's me. You do. That's all. I think it's the real me that finally is coming out.
You think so?
Yes, yes.
What was the first character you ever learned to act like? You took a persona that was a living person.
Well, that was actually neighbors, like Red Skelton, who developed characters from his childhood. We had a lot of goofy neighbors around our community. I was born in, I won't say what state, they might happen to move here and listen. But anyway, I used to sit around the table at home and entertain the family by impersonating some of the nuts that lived in our neighborhood. You know?
Are you ever conscious? Like I said, Chuck gave the great definition earlier on in the program of the difference between an impressionist and an actor. Are you ever nervous when doing a real person? They have families that may be still alive. Does it ever bother you? Is it harder?
No, I just, whenever I walk on stage, or just before I walk on stage, I have a mental image picture of the person I'm impersonating, and I just emote that picture out to the audience. And I think that's one reason that, because there's a lot of telepathy goes on between a performer and his audience, and I think a lot of the times the people pick up on that character that I'm impersonating, and they start seeing their mental image picture of that person instead of really looking at me.
And that's what keeps me in character, and it's true. When he walks out, then I'm working with Red, and I'm working with Jack Benny, and I'm working with Bob Hope, and I'm working with Jimmy Durante, because he just does that. When he walks out, he is that person, and I accept it, and we're there.
So you're working with Bob Hope.
Yeah.
Yeah. You would have to, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Because it has to be the realization.
And you have to get the feeling as though that's what we're doing.
Yeah. Chuck said his favorite was Red Skelton. Who's your favorite, Lynn?
I don't have a favorite, because I just love them all, or I couldn't do them. Mm-hmm. And so it's like a father or mother with a child, or a family of children, and I can't say that I love one more than the other.
Is there one that's harder to do than another?
Not now. Bob Hope, as I said, was the most difficult to get him down, because he was not as extreme as a Jimmy Durante or the Red Skelton's characters, you know, or Jack Benny. But I love to do Bob now, and I think I probably get the bigger response from Bob than anybody, just because he was a little more contemporary and is still seen in movies and that type of thing, you know.
Have you ever heard from agents, co-stars, co-workers, families of any of these people?
Oh, they all sue me.
Really? There you go.
Every week I get
A summons.
stack of letters, yeah.
Did you never ran into any of
No,
them? Really?
no.
That's interesting.
No family members, or in fact, I've tried to contact some of the family members, and I'll send them letters or such, and particularly speaking Linda Hope and Kelly Hope, and I take it kind of as a good sign, because they know I exist, and they know what I'm doing, and they do not respond.
You know, that's interesting with the ones we've seen, Red Skelton, Jack Benny, people of that nature. It doesn't seem to be as protected, and even Red Skelton and Jack Benny, as I was saying, sadly, have been forgotten by a lot of people. Bob Hope is still very well known, very well marketed, and they're very protective.
Well, Bob Hope is still remembered so much through a family line, many military families, you know, and they'll come to the show and they'll say, "Oh, I can't wait till I tell my grandma or grandpa or my dad, because he's talked about you," they'll say to me, "Bob Hope, he's talked about you for so many years, and now I finally get to meet you." They'll actually take me on as the real person.
They all the time.
Yeah.
It's just amazing.
Lynn, can you go get Bob?
I'll see if I can find him.
Thank
And
you.
first of all, for my part, I just want to say good night and may God bless.
Ah, there you go. Classic line.
Yes.
Well, Chuck, I was thinking, do you ever get nervous up on stage working with such a freewheeling guy?
No. Fortunately for me, I have the same attitude. I too, having been a former personality type disc jockey where you thought of, the top of your head, that we have had a couple of really nice things happen, but just by accident. So, no, he's never going to throw me, nor do I throw him, because I have a couple of times made some suggestions or did something in character, and he just picked it up and went right with it. So I would like to say one thing for those people watching now who missed us when we were at the Marion Theater at the Palace. We're hoping to come back next year with a brand new show because it's a Christmas show. It's Bob Hope's Holiday Road Show. Same characters, all new material, so maybe we can get these folks to let us bring us back to Marion.
Well, I think a holiday show, Bob Hope, I can't think of it that would be anything better.
No, it's wonderful. And we bring another character with us, Yogi Jorgensen. I don't know if you've ever...
Bing Crosby.
No,
Isn't it Bing Crosby?
No, Yogi Jorgensen was a radio character in the 50s, did a Swedish accent and does Jingle Bells, and it's just funny, hilarious.
Who's the gentleman who does the Bing Crosby impersonation?
That is Bob Posh.
Bob Posh. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And Desmond does great.
I heard that Desmond does a great impersonation of Yogi Jorgensen. Desmond, you work here at the Groovy Spoon. We talked to you last week. You ever seen anything like this happen at the Groovy Spoon?
No.
Has it made it fun?
Yeah, a lot funner.
A lot more fun, yeah. What is the best part for those people who didn't watch the program last week about being an employee here? You've been here since the beginning, right?
Yep.
Yeah. What's the best part?
The atmosphere, the unlimited toppings to choose from. There's like almost 57 different toppings to choose from, ranging from cookies to cereal to fresh fruit to anything your mind could.
It's diet. Look at him. He hasn't got an ounce of fat on him.
That's right. Well, I tell you what, Desmond, it's always good to have you here. Stick with us. Stick with us. We've got a lot more show to come here. But Bob's back. Bob Hope has joined us again. Bob, how are you?
Yes, sir. Just doing great.
What have you been up to?
Well, I've been hanging out and back right now, most recently eating a bunch of this wonderful yogurt here from the Groovy Spoon.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Bob, one of your great tunes, we didn't get it in earlier on this week, and I want to get it in today, Buttons and Bows.
Oh, yeah,
I hear
from
the
the
music.
Pale Face.
Could you give us a little bit of Buttons and Bows?
Well, if I could hear the music.
We'll get there. I can hear it. Trust me, you people at home, you can hear it, can't you?
A little bit.
It's coming in. There we go.
Don't bury me on this prairie, take me where the cement grows. Let's move down to some small town where they love a gal by the cut of her clothes, and you'll stand out in buttons and bows.
Such a classic
I
song.
love
Oh, go ahead.
you
No.
in buckskin, the skirts that you've homespun. But I love you longer, stronger, dear, where your friends don't tote a gun. My bones denounce the buckboard bounce, and the cement hurts my toes. Let's vamoose where gals keep wearing those frills and flowers and linens at shows, and you'll stand out in buttons and bows. Want the ending?
Go ahead.
Give me Eastern trimming, for women are women, and high silk hose and peekaboo clothes, French perfume that rocks a room, and you're all mine in buttons and bows. Buttons and bows. Yes,
See
sir.
Bob with Jane Russell at a theater near you in Paleface. Coming to your theater soon.
Paleface, that was a great movie. Bob, we talked about Jane earlier on in the week. What kind of lady was she?
Oh, Jane was a wonderful gal. And you know, the Paleface movie went over so big that they came out the next year with Son of Paleface. And that included Jane Russell again, but also Roy Rogers and Trigger.
Really?
Yeah, and you know, I was the MC for the Academy Awards 12 times, and I never won an Academy Award. In fact, the Academy Awards at my house were known as Passover. And the thing that was really discouraging about The Son of Paleface, there was one Academy Award given in that movie, or for that movie, and you'll never guess who won it.
Who's that?
Trigger.
Really?
It really
Wow.
was. Trigger won the Academy Award for Best Animal Actor.
I love it. Bob, did you ever think any of your performances were Oscar worthy?
Oh, every one of them. It's just a very poor judgment on the part of the committee.
Blame it on the committee.
Yes,
What does it take to be a good MC?
Well, first of all, you've got to know your material, and if you have a little background on the person, you kind of just emote what that person is like when you do the introduction. Yeah, like if I was gonna introduce you, I would say, and ladies and gentlemen, now a man who loves to eat at the Groovy Spoon. Here he is, Scott Spears.
Beautiful.
See, and
Bob.
now everybody would know what you're like right from that
I think they
introduction.
would. That just covers it all. That covers all the bases there. Chuck, we haven't talked about your thoughts on the Bob Hope here bit. What do you think of the Bob Hope?
Oh, it's amazing, and it is the reason that we put the show together. Again, as I said, when you were doing a 1940s radio show, and NBC, of course, that was Bob Hope's home, it went beyond just doing theaters. That's what we're doing in Marion, but we do World War II reenactments, we do military museums, we do military air shows. All of it ties in to Bob Hope. The other characters are wonderful, and they're great to have, and it expands our show. But without Bob, there would be no road show.
Desmond, how old are you again?
I'm 16.
16. Okay. Now, we've done Red Skelton, Jack Benny, and Bob Hope. Which of those names rings a bell to you?
Bob Hope.
Bob Hope. If I say Bob Hope, what do you think? Is there anything that comes to mind, or you just know the name?
Entertainment business. I don't know specifically what he does, but entertainment.
Entertainment. And, you know, Bob, you lived such a long life, 100 years. What's the secret?
Keep breathing.
Did you have good genes in your family?
Oh yeah, my genes are very, very good. You know, there were seven boys in our family, and I'll never forget. You know, we were actually raised in Cleveland. We came from England. I was born in England. Came over when I was 4, and in our family, you know, I didn't eat. It was 7 brothers. We all slept in the same bed. If we got cold in the night, Mom would just throw on another brother. And in fact, I didn't even know what it was like to sleep alone until I got married.
Poor Dolores. Poor Dolores. Bob, with 4 minutes left in the program, we talked earlier on this week about your signature song, Thanks for the Memories. Now, I printed out, and I'll give Chuck a copy here, and Desmond, I don't know if you've ever heard this song, but this is a complete printout of all the lyrics. Now, I got a question for you. I have X'd out every verse that I don't remember Bob Hope doing outside of the movie. Am I correct with this?
Let me look this over without glasses. You know, I'm at that age where necessity takes over from vanity, but I'm trying to see. You've got some that are crossed out here. Well, a lot of times, though, when I'm doing a show, I'll rewrite new lyrics.
Right.
Make a parody out of it for whoever we're doing. But yeah, this looks pretty good. The first 3 verses are ones that I do, and then of course I do the last one.
Well, the whole thing was what, in the movie, of course, he was singing opposite, what was her name, your co-star?
Shirley Rossi.
And so they sang it together, but they sang all of these lyrics. So if you remember the movie, you're much older than I am.
See, in the film, they were divorced, and then they were splitting up, and they were sitting at the bar and singing this to each other.
Now, what is the would you say, most known lyric of this song? The most known stanza?
I think actually the last stanza, which I don't even think is on here.
Did I leave that off?
But am I going to sing it?
Yes, we want to hear you sing it,
Okay.
Bob.
Well, here it is. It's the last one.
Okay.
Which would be, so thanks for the memory, and strictly entre nous, darling, how are you? And how are all the little dreams that never did come true? Awfully glad I met you, cheerio and toodle-doo, and thank you so much.
Well, I tell you what, let's do it with music. Here we go. Bob Hope at the Groovy Spoon. Thanks for the memories.
Yes, thanks for the memories, for candlelight and wine, castles on the Rhine, Parthenon and moments on the Hudson River line. I thank you so much. Yes, thanks for the memory, for rainy afternoons and swinging Harlem tunes. Motor trips and burning lips, burning toast and prunes. How lovely it was. And many's the time that we feasted, and many's the time that we fasted. Gee, it was swell while it lasted. Hey, we sure had fun, didn't we? And no harm done? Well, thanks for the memories, and strictly entre nous. Darling, how are you? And how are all your little dreams that never did come true? Awfully glad I met you, cheerio and toodaloo. And thank you. Yes, sir, darling. Thank you so much.
It's the
God
Bob
bless
Hope
you.
Road Show, starring Bob Hope.
Lynn Roberts and Chuck Carson, wonderful from the Groovy Spoon. Thank you for the memory. Ding, ding, dong. Bye-bye.